There's a guy at every party who, when something awkward happens, a glass breaks, someone trips, an ex walks in, immediately turns to the room and says something that makes everyone lose it. And then there's the other guy, the one who is the awkward thing that happened. Both of them are funny, but they are not the same person, not even close. And that difference, that tiny, seemingly insignificant thing, who you are when the moment calls for a joke, says more about your psychology than a decade of journaling and 3 different therapists combined. Let's be honest. Most of us have never really stopped to think about our sense of humor as a thing. It's just there, like a bad habit or a good playlist. You either laugh at dark stuff or you don't. You either do impressions at family dinners or you sit in silence and slowly die inside. Simple, except it's not simple at all. Because psychologists spent years studying this, and what they found is that humor is essentially a window, a very unguarded, very honest window into how you were built. Not just what you find funny, but how you use humor, what job you've assigned it to do in your life, and whether that job is actually working for you or quietly making things worse. Turns out there are 4 main ways people use humor. And yes, you can absolutely be a mix, but you'll probably recognize yourself in one of them immediately and feel slightly called out about it. First, affiliative humor. This is the person who makes everyone feel like they're in on the joke. No victims, no targets, just isn't life kind of insane and we're all in this together energy? They're the ones who find something genuinely funny about the flight delay, the broken printer, the fact that we all have to file taxes until we die. People who lean into this style tend to be warm, socially at ease, and emotionally stable, which makes complete sense because their humor is basically a handshake that says, I see you, I'm not a threat, let's be okay. Charming people. Everyone loves them, probably insufferable in the morning. Second, self-enhancing humor. These are the people who laugh when things go wrong and genuinely mean it. Not the performative, haha, everything is fine laugh while internally screaming. The actual, quiet, almost private amusement at the absurdity of their own situation. They spill coffee on their shirt before a job interview and think, well, that's a bit much, isn't it? Research links this style to high emotional resilience and low neuroticism. Essentially, these people have developed an internal stand-up comedian who runs 24/7 and refuses to let reality be too heavy. It's kind of annoying if you're someone who prefers to suffer dramatically, but objectively, deeply impressive. Third, aggressive humor. Now we're getting somewhere. This is the funny person who is sharp, almost dangerously sharp. Every conversation is an improv set. Every situation has a victim, and the joke is perfectly constructed, perfectly timed, and lands so well that nobody feels comfortable pointing out that someone in the room just got quietly destroyed. If this is you, people probably describe you as hilarious and also a lot. You likely grew up in an environment where wit was currency and vulnerability was weakness. The humor isn't malicious in your mind. You're just observant, honest. You're just saying what everyone's thinking. And look, sometimes that's true. But there's also a solid chance the joke is doing something else entirely, keeping people at arm's length, reclaiming control in situations where you feel threatened, dismantling someone before they can dismantle you first. Research connects this style to lower agreeableness and higher hostility, which doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means the humor has a job beyond comedy, worth thinking about. Fourth, and most poignant, self-defeating humor. This is the person who gets to the punchline first, and the punchline is themselves. Before anyone can comment on the mistake, the awkward moment, the insecurity, they're already there, joke in hand, offering themselves up on a silver platter. Yeah, I'm a mess. I know. Classic me. The room laughs, the moment passes, nobody presses further. And it works. Socially, it absolutely works. People love someone who can laugh at themselves. It disarms tension. It signals humility. It makes you likable. But here's the thing. Psychologists found that people who rely heavily on this style tend to score high on neuroticism and low on self-esteem. The joke isn't confidence.
It's a cover charge, the price you pay for belonging.
I'll make fun of myself so you don't have to. And then maybe you'll let me stay. That's not humor as expression. That's humor as negotiation. What makes all of this genuinely fascinating is that these aren't random personality quirks. They connect directly to the Big Five, the most well-validated model of personality in psychology. Warm affiliative humor tracks with high extroversion and agreeableness. Self-enhancing humor tracks with emotional stability. Aggressive humor, low agreeableness, high dominance. Self-defeating humor, high neuroticism, anxious attachment. Which means your sense of humor isn't separate from your personality. It is your personality, just dressed up and performing at a party. On a neurological level, humor is one of the most complex things the brain does. It fires up the prefrontal cortex and the amygdala simultaneously, regions responsible for cognitive processing and emotional response. When humor is used in a healthy way, it literally rewires how your brain handles stress, lowering cortisol and softening the emotional weight of difficult situations. When it's used as a mask, though, the stress doesn't go anywhere. It just changes outfits. So next time you crack a joke, or desperately want to, it's worth asking one quick question. Not, is this funny? You already know the answer to that. But who does this joke serve? Does it bring people in or push them away? Does it help you process something real, or does it help you avoid it? Is it genuine, or is it a strategy? You don't have to answer out loud. That would be deeply unfunny. But somewhere in that answer is a version of yourself that's worth knowing a little better.